Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, kicking off a 50-cent, $300,000 guaranteed pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday. Race number 6, 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It's the Grade 2 Woodford Stakes. Before we get to the field, remember, Keeneland Clocker reports for Saturday now available for purchase. DRF.com/Keeneland, a perfect complement to your daily racing form past performances. Mike Welsh and his expert team of clockers give you the skinny on all the latest morning workouts for all the races at Keeneland. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 2 Woodford Stakes. It is a big field. It's a pretty competitive group, Mike. Imprimis the 3 was an explosive winner of the Shakertown during the spring meet. Extravagant Kid has been a hard hitter for a long time. This is a nice bunch. It's going to come down to trip, I think.
Yeah, I agree. There are a lot of different horses who can win this race. A lot of horses who have speed, but they don't necessarily need the lead. So I think you're right. I think trips are going to have a lot to say about the outcome here.
Well, let's throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector and try to get an idea of who's going to be out there rolling on the early lead. And we see the 7, the 8, and the 2 battling it out on what should be a fair pace. Extravagant Kid has speed, but I don't really think he's going to be going, guns blazing to the early lead. Farik certainly has speed. Satellite Storm has speed. I think Leinster, the 9, can work out a nice trip on the outside.
I agree with that. I think he can get a good trip. I think Imprimis can get a nice trip, a horse who has enough speed to get forward. Even Extravagant Kid, the 2, who's up close, he's the kind of horse who does have speed, but they're perfectly happy to rate him if they have to.
And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he drops down into the pocket in a very nice spot early. Let's talk about the 1, 7 Trumpets. This is a horse trying turf for the first time. His sire, Morning Line's been kind of a hidden turf stallion. He's done very well with his first-time turf runners and turf starters overall. This dam's foaled a couple of turf winners. Last year, as a 3-year-old, this horse was good enough to step with the likes of Firenze Fire and promises fulfilled on the dirt. Few nice races. This is only his 3rd start of the year. He was completely overmatched last time out against Catalina Cruiser. It's kind of a tough spot for a turf debut, but he's a horse with a little bit of closing kick.
He is, and he's got some turf pedigree to back him up, too. So, the surface switch is not like it's, an impossible thing for him to do. It's hard to switch surfaces in a race like this. There are so many good turf sprinters in this race, and as good as I think 7 Trumpet is, and I think he's pretty good, he's probably going to have to be a better turf horse than he is a dirt horse to beat this field.
Extravagant Kid is the number 2. He's won 2 out of his last 3 races, and the loss was in the Grade 1 Highlander up at Woodbine against a then-sharp Wet Your Whistle. Let's go back to his most recent start. It's the Haas Stakes at Colonial. I thought this was a pretty game performance, Mike. On the outside is Extravagant Kid.
Yeah, I mean, he got a good trip in this race. He broke very alertly from the gate, but they just didn't want the lead. They took a hold of him, rated him off the pace. He came clear in the stretch. He was just much the best in this race. His race 3 starts back was sort of a similar situation, Dan. He had plenty of speed. They didn't want the lead. They rated him, and he won very easily. He's got plenty of figures that say he fits in this race, and he should get a really good trip.
The way the number 3 Imprimis won his first 2 starts this year made you think he was one of the better turf sprinters in the country. Buyers of 109, 101, both races visually impressive, so much so the connection shipped him to Royal Ascot. He was far from embarrassed in the Group 1 King's Stand Stakes, and he came back last time out of Kentucky Downs, and A, he didn't get forward enough, B, he didn't have to like that European configuration off the layoff. I think he'll be a lot tighter here, and let's watch his race in the Shakertown, because really, Mike, does he have any business winning this race?
No, I mean, we're just going to pick it up in the stretch here, and you can see him in those yellow silks on the outside with some work to do from here with a really good horse in front of him and bound for nowhere. This is all after he stumbled very badly at the start. It felt like he lost all chance right there, but he's going to win anyway. This is a really impressive performance. I even thought his Kentucky Downs race last time was pretty good, Dan. I mean, just sort of down on the rail the entire way. He could never get himself out into the. I don't think he was going to win that race, but the trip was not a very good one. I think he's the horse to beat in here.
The number 4 is Stubbins. He's a 3-year-old taking on his elders. I've always liked this horse. Liked his 3rd place effort when he came back from Dubai against older horses like Eddie Haskell and Tribalist. I mean, those are some really nice older sprinters out in Southern California. He ran well as the only 3-year-old in the field. They tried to stretch him out. That's not his game. And this race, the Franklin Simpsoning his fellow 3-year-olds was not bad at all. He's on the outside right now. He's coming into 2nd place. I thought, again, it was a good performance for a horse that was wide early off kind of a moderate pace. I wonder if the 5 is really his game, but he did run that race against Eddie Haskell at 5.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad, that performance. I thought he ran well in that race we just watched, too. I mean, that horse wired the field. He was sort of on the outside. He never threatened, but he ran okay. He's got some races that say if he takes one more step forward, Dan, I think he could contend with these horses.
10-time winner, number 5, Win, Lion, Win, third start of the form cycle, second in both tries this cycle at Canterbury, beaten by Satellite Storm both times, faces that one again and some tougher ones.
Yeah, the running style that he has actually fits this race pretty well. I just don't know if he's good enough.
Smart Remark almost pulled off a 69-1 shocker in the Grade 3 turf sprint at Kentucky Downs. Career best 98 buyer. You wanted to get forward that day. Rafael Bejarano realized that. We turned into the stretch. He had the lead. Leinster's in here. Imprimis is in here. Smart Remark, he almost gets there.
Yeah, I mean, he runs probably the best race of his life in this spot. I think the trip that he got had a lot to do with it. He's only second best at the end. You saw Imprimis and Leinster finish third and fourth there in a photo. We'll see if this horse can back that race up because he has to.
Farik is the number 7, and he's really improved since being switched back to turf. He's won his last 3 races, including this $10,000 starter allowance at Kentucky Downs, and boy, he has to work. He's down on the inside. Isn't he in deep water right here? Let's give him some credit for really digging down deep and coming back to win. He's finally living up to that nice pedigree.
Yeah, that's a 6.5 furlong race right there. It's probably a little bit far for him. So for him just to hold on, that's pretty good stuff. We went 2 starts back and he ran a fast race. He's got a lot of speed, Dan, but he feels like he's going to be under pressure almost every step of the way here.
And one of the horses pressuring him right next door, the 8 Satellite Storm, gate-to-wire winner of the Mystic Lake Turf Sprint at Canterbury 2 starts back. Second best at Churchill Downs in his most recent start. He's getting a big class test. Again, great claim for these connections, taking him from 15, 12-5.
They've done a great job with this horse. He has a ton of speed. He's running fast figures, too. But, again, this is going to be tough for him on the front end in here.
I'm a big fan of Leinster, and you scored out on him in the Troy 2 starts back when he beat the Good Disco Partner and Pure Sensation. Got a very nice trip angling out and running him down in the lane that day. And last time out in the turf sprint again, you wanted to get forward. I thought he ran okay. He really loomed boldly at the top of the stretch like he was going to go by everybody. But all in all, a good effort. He likes Keeneland. I think he's going to trip out. To me, he's a must-use in this pick 5.
I'm using him as well. He's just really run well in all of his starts since they've cut him back to be a turf sprinter, and I agree with your take on his last race. I think he can run better than that.
Royal Commish is the 10 completing this field. This is another reform claimer, once taken for $5,000 way back in 2017. He's won 3 races for these connections, but again, it's a big step up in class. And he needs a buyer boost, and it's a tough outside post.
Yeah, a lot working against this horse who he hasn't really run a race that's going to beat this field. This is a very good field.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 2 Woodford Stakes. I think your top pick's going to drift off that 3-1 morning line, Mike. I think the Extravagant Kid, the 2 in Leinster, they're going to switch odds. You might be around that 5-1 range. Yeah,
that's what I was hoping, that he maybe would drift up a little bit in price. We'll see. I think he fits really well in this field, though, and I really like his running style for the race, so I'm just hoping he trips out in this race. I went 2-3-9.
I was a fan of 7 Trumpets on the dirt. I think he has enough turf pedigree to at least handle the grass. I'm curious to see how he does so. He's going to be a price. He's 15-1. I'm going to use a lot of Leinster in this pick 4 wager. I also might use a little bit of Stubbins as well. Imprimis, very dangerous. I went 1-9-4-6. Grade 2 Woodford Stakes, race number 6, kicking off a 50-cent minimum, $300,000 guaranteed pick 5. Approximate post time, 3:54 on Saturday. Good luck.